A week ago, an 83-year-old American woman was freed from kidnap in Burkina Faso. Sue Ellen Tennyson, a Catholic nun, had been held by an armed group there, but the circumstances of her release, and indeed who was holding her, were unclear. It is an issue, though, that our terrorism expert, Wassim Nasr, has been looking into for us, and he joins me here now. Wassim, what can you tell us?
Well, actually, it's a very interesting case because we had to know that she was liberated a week ago, first from local sources, then from American sources, then from Burkina Faso sources, and at the end, at the SOCOM, the General Miley said that U.S. Special Operations Forces were implicated in rescuing a hostage. So we knew it was about her, but the interesting thing about the story, there was no U.S. operation to rescue her, and it happened in Niger while she was kidnapped in Burkina Faso. So actually, what happened around the circumstances is that the Burkinabe crew, a presidential crew, from the president cabinet, went all the way to Burkina Faso to collect the hostage, and they brought her back to Niger, to Makalondi, where she was handled by U.S. Special Forces with a medical helicopter. And what is also interesting is what happened behind the scenes. So there was a first contact with jihadis from Al-Qaeda back in July, and it is the same crew that got in contact with them that got to have this hostage back into Niger in order to be released. We know that the Nigerian president has 4 plans, if I may say so. There's a military plan with the help of the French army and through buying Turkish drones, for example. He has another social development plan, another justice plan, but also a political plan to talk to jihadi factions who are willing to negotiate with him. And here we see it's like the first result of this effort. And what's also interesting is that it happened at the end of August, and we had no picture of her next to the Nigerian president in the presidential palace. It happened very, very quietly, and he didn't capitalize on it politically. And that was an American request, as I was told. So this initiative to talk to jihadis has got its first fruit, and from jihadi sources, I got to know that locally in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and even the leadership of Akim, Al-Qaeda, and Islamic Maghreb is very open to negotiations with Niger on multiple issues beyond hostage issues, knowing that this particular hostage was very old, and the jihadis didn't want her to die with them. This is that's a fact. And being a woman, it was very complicated to keep her. So in a way, they were also happy to give her to Niger as a gesture. And Niger, on the other hand, last Sunday liberated one person that was requested by the jihadis themselves from a list of 14.
And obviously this is good news for this one particular woman and for her family, but it is worth reiterating, Wassim, that for Burkina civilians in this part of the north of the country, there is a daily threat of attack, isn't there? And only today, 35 civilians were killed in what is apparently an IED attack by a jihadist group. What can you tell us about what happened?
Well, actually, the situation is deteriorating by the day in Burkina Faso. We remember that there was a military coup in Burkina Faso in order to fix the situation, as the Burkinabe junta said. But the fact is the situation is getting worse and worse, and we can see maybe some numbers. We look at those numbers that are ranging from January up to June, and we see the number of casualties are the black circles, and the number of attacks being higher in Burkina Faso than in Mali, even though the number of victims in Mali is higher. So we see that the frequency of attacks is getting higher and higher, either in Mali or in Burkina Faso, and even in Niger, where multiple efforts are being made in order to control and to improve the situation. So in this kind of situation, it is obvious today that many means should be used. The military means, the social means, but also the means of negotiations with those who want to negotiate, meaning the Al-Qaeda jihadis. But because on the other hand, Islamic State jihadis aren't in this dynamic of negotiation.
Wassim Nasr, thanks very much indeed.